Hi, thank you very much for tuning back in. My name is Funny. In my channel, I talk about my houseplant and my Hoyas. Today, it is another Hoya content video that I have been thinking how to put it together. I hope that you like the Hoya content because I try to make it a little bit more structured. So then hopefully after you have watched this video, you have learned something new and potentially could give you some guideline for expanding your Hoya collection. In today's video, I would like to share with you underrated, inexpensive, but unique and easy care Hoyas. So there's a lot of characteristics of the selection that I have for you. The main reason why I wanted to create this content is because from time to time, many of you actually sent me DMs and on YouTube's comment mentioning about, is there any Hoyas that is less expensive and relatively easy for new Hoya collectors to have? In this video, I hope you can get an idea, in my perspective, which Hoyas are inexpensive yet underrated. And for the reference for the pricing, I'm referring to the price that generally offers in Europe. I am not so sure how it will fluctuate, say in the US, in Australia, or in Canada, or in other parts of the world. But given the fact that some of the European sellers also sell all around the world, I believe that could be the price range that you could kind of refer to. And the price range for today would be between 20 to 60 euro for 1-note/2 note cutting. If you are interested in this content and you would like to support me making similar videos in the future, don't forget to hit that like button and share this video with your friends. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you move on. Now, without further ado, let's take a close-up look of all of these Hoya selection that I carefully selected for you.
The first one over here is PNG SV462. Don't think this one has a name yet, but it entered this category of this video is because I haven't really heard anybody talking about this Hoya, and I really think this one is a very, very reasonable priced Hoya, but it has really nice small detail that it could actually be a very unique Hoya in a collection. This one I got it from odetteae Hoya Passion, I think around a year ago. You can check out the video that I have done for the unboxing. You can see the link on the side. And this is the growth that has pushed out since I have purchased it. And the reason why I think it is a very, very unique, underrated Hoya, as I mentioned, it is very reasonably priced, at least on the website from Hoya Passion, and you can see that it has characteristic of splashiness. It's not so much, it is just subtly, unevenly on each leaf, and you can also see for new leaves, it has very, very nice coloration. A little bit of sun stressed, I would say. It comes out red, and after that it will turn lime green, and then after that for the mature, or I would say older leaves, it will turn to this darker shade of green color. The another thing that I really like about this one is it has this very elongated and pointy leaf shape, and not to mention it is a small leaf Hoya, and that is something that I really, really like. One thing is it looks really cute, another is you can have a lot more smaller leaf Hoya compared to the larger ones if you have a limited space. And the caring of this one is also very easy. I have this one in my Mealsbo cabinet, always actually, since it is a small tiny cutting, and it has since pushed out this nice vine, and also the growth pattern is very flattering, and you can see that it is parallel. Each of the node has 2 leaves, and the internode is also quite regular. That makes it a very nice trailing down Hoya, as you can see over here. And the growth pattern is also really nice. You can see that there's a new branch that is branching out over there, and it is, I remember it is a 1 node 2 leaf cutting back then, and you can see that it has branched out quite a bit in 1 node, and that makes it a bushy plant with splash and different color tone and different stage of growth of the leaf itself. So I highly recommend this one, and let me know in the comment box below if you have PNG SV462, this one, or if you actually know that this one has been published and it has actually a name. For now, I haven't really seen a lot of people talking about this one, but definitely I would think it is one that you could add to your collection. The next one over here is Hoya tsangii. It is also known as odetteae. A lot of Hoya is actually called tsangii, but as far as I know, this one is the true tsangii. I have not, again, heard too much of this particular Hoya being introduced by Hoya collectors or things that I have heard on YouTube, for example, but this one is a very, very pretty trailing, I would say, trailing friendly Hoya, because as I have mentioned in the trailing video, as you can see, the reference video that I'm showing you right now, this is a perfect candidate for trailing down, for the fact that it has a very, very thin stem, and also it is soft stem. So as you can see, this one is also very long, and it looks super nice as a trailing down basket Hoya. This one, I got it from Camilla. I believe I do have an unboxing video that I have, and you can check that out as I am attaching on the side. You can see that the reason why this one is a highly recommended one is because the growth pattern is super compact, yet very elegant, as I mentioned, because of the thin stem and also soft stem. It makes it a very, very nice trailing down Hoya, and this is also not very expensive. And you can also check out, of course, with Camilla, this also falls under a relatively inexpensive Hoya category, and I totally think that it is very worth adding to your collection. It is because it is very small leaf and it is thinner on the texture, so it just makes it a very good looking Hoya. And in terms of the caring, this one is also very easy. I got this one probably a year and a half ago, and you can see that I have grown a full plant like this right now. With regard to how easy it is to root, this was a pretty tricky one. As you can see, this one is only 1 stem, but then it has branched out super much more. This one is just so much, as you can see over here. It was, I think it was 3 node 6 leaf cutting that I got from Camilla. However, it wasn't the easiest to root, and I have chopped all of the notes into different ones, so then I can increase 3 times the chance of this being rooted, and that was only 1 of them that managed to root successfully. So perhaps this one is not the easiest to start with, but once you have established its root system, it will reward you with a very, very good looking look like this. And as far as the tips for rooting it, I think because of the thin leaf nature and also the stem is very, very fine, it's better to keep it on more moist substrate. I always have it rooted in Lechuza pon. You can check out my Lechuza pon video or my rooting 101 video to learn a little bit more on how I do my rooting of cutting. So I believe at that time I didn't keep the Lechuza pon moist all the time, and that's why some of them has dried up. And hopefully this is the only one that succeeded back then, and it gives me this much of growth. The next one over here, it is also a Hoya that I got from Camilla. This one is SPN S05240. I have heard of this plant being introduced by other Hoya collectors on YouTube. However, I don't think it is that commonly discussed. This Hoya is very, very pretty. When it comes to the leaf shape, you can see that it looks a little bit more round, however with very pointy tip. And what is the texture? I would say the texture is very similar to SPAFF Botoniae, however much more pointy leaf shape, and that makes this one unique, because for Botoniae I would say it is a very common and always being discussed Hoya, but not so much for this one, an S05240. And another thing that is super pretty is the sun stressing ability. You can see that the backside of the Hoya is very purpley. It just looks like a purpley blush coloration, and in the front as well. This one also shared the characteristic of SPAFF Botoniae, so I actually think this one could be a hybrid of SPAFF Botoniae, just that it has a different pointy leaf shape. And this is also an inexpensive Hoya that I would say. The growth, on the other hand, is also very, very nice. At the time when I got the cutting from Camilla, I believe I got it as a one node with multiple shoot cutting, and that was probably last year summer that I got it. And this is the growth, almost grow into a full plant, I would say. And it is a very fantastic trailing down Hoya, as you can see. Although the stem here, you can see it's a little bit more on the thick side, and it's not as bendable and flexible. It still looks really nice. It is because of the growth pattern of the new leaf. The internode, as you can see, is very regular. It's almost like the same distance between different nodes, and almost each of the node comes into a pair of new leaf. Even though the ones that have one leaf, for example, like this one, it still look very elegant and nice, and especially adding the coloration of purple, it is just really nice. Easy to grow Hoya. In terms of where I have this Hoya, I have it in my mealsbow cabinet since it started rooting, and ever since then you can see these are all of the new growth, and it's very easy. It never have struggle in terms of watering, light or humidity. It is just really easygoing. And with regard to the tolerance of drought, I would say it is definitely higher tolerance of underwater. Several times I don't have the time to water it, and it actually dried up quite a bit, but as you can see, it's perfectly fine, and there's so much roots and so much growth as well. So a very, very underrated, easygoing and inexpensive Hoya that can add to your collection. Next up here is Hoya minutiflora. I got this one from Camilla again. I got this one probably 2 years ago. And at the beginning, it wasn't the easiest for me. It hasn't really grown as quick in the beginning. Haven't really figured out why in the beginning it wasn't that easy, but as you can see, these ones are a little bit sun stressed. It is because I placed it in the mealsbow cabinet in the beginning of this plant's life. It has grown so quick because of the strong light, but at the same time it has some unpleasant sun stress coloration, and also it has some kind of bumps. If you can see, this one has grown under the highlight condition, which is under the Spider Farmer Grow Light, and I recognize that when this one has very high light on top, it has irregular growth pattern, almost like it is damaged because of too strong light. And because I have noted the irregular shape of the Hoya, I have moved it out to my normal room condition. And at that time it is the beginning of winter. That's why it hasn't pushed out too many new leaves. However, you can see that the newer growth is a little bit more regular. As you can see, the leaf is not having that bump like what we see on this one. This one is not a very expensive Hoya to begin with. However, it gives you a lot of joy. For one thing, the leaf itself is very small, and I love small leaf Hoya, as you know, and you can see that it has a lot of texture on the leaf. It is very pointy, almost like it could pinch your finger. And then you can see that it has a relatively thicker leaf thickness over here. And what is even more interesting is their flower. The reason why it's called minutiflora is because it has a very, very tiny flower. I did have an occasion that I have seen peduncle. However, I underwatered it and then the peduncle dried up and dropped off. It was super fine. It looks like a hair thread for the peduncle itself, and hopefully when spring hits I can be able to provide the environment again to provide a peduncle, and hopefully it could end up flowering. And with regard to the care tips, this one is also really easy. For this one, this size, I have used 2 years to grow. It could be relatively slow if you ask someone who has a grow tent, but I think it's not bad. It is also a really pleasant growth pattern, although it has a lot of stems here because it is very thin stem, and also the leaf itself is obviously really small. It looks really nice as a trailing down Hoya. And so I would say this one is not difficult to root. I root it relatively fast, and it just takes some time for this to kind of grow the first few leaves. And then after I have moved it to a less highlight condition, the leaf shape has turned from these ones a little bit more irregular because of the highlight into a more pleasant and regular leaf shape. You see that this one is also under highlight condition, and then it turns to be a normal leaf shape. Nevertheless, it has super cute leaves and also one of the smallest flower. Last one over here is Hoya microstemma, NS11145, and you can see this is also a small tiny leaf Hoya. Yes, you know me. If you follow me on this channel, I really like small leaf Hoya, especially those leaves that is pointy and grow like they could trail down nicely. This one, microstemma, is one of the Hoya, again, I obtained from Camilla. This one, I really like it because of the leaf shape, and if you look into the vein, you can see the vein very subtly. And what makes it very, very cute is that the leaf thickness is relatively thin, and together with a very, very thin and soft stem, it grows extremely nice as a trailing down Hoya. And another thing is, this one again is not very expensive. I am very, very happy that I got this one at the time when I received it from Camilla. I got it around 2 years ago, and this one, as you can see, all of these are grown in 2 years' time. Another thing that I want to talk about this Hoya is that it has really nice sun stressing color. I'll show you here. You can see that the edge has turned to purple, probably more on the back. And another thing is, different level of light will give different size of the leaf. This, I think the original leaf 2 years ago are still there, which tells you that this is a very easygoing Hoya and it seldom drop leaf. However, the size of the leaf differs so much. This one has grown under Millsbow cabinet and the leaf is relatively smaller than the original one. And what happened is that after I have moved it out of my Millsbow cabinet, I put it in my room environment right next to my south-facing window. I don't really know if it's because it is colder, because it was entering autumn back in the time when I moved it to the room environment. The leaves that pushed out is extremely small. Please let me know in the comment box below if you also have an issue for microstemma. The leaf grows much larger in a highlight condition or in a greenhouse condition, and then it grows super small in a room environment. It is strange because generally when there is highlight, it will grow much smaller leaf. But this is just a stark contrast. As you can see, this is a greener leaf. That means it's just recently pushed out in my room environment. And it almost looked like a different species. Look, it's just completely different size. And this stem is pushed out in my room environment. It is completely different. I personally like this leaf shape more, and this one, as you can see, this one is the original leaf, and these are actually the largest leaf that I have, and then it gradually grows smaller. But the reason why I put this one in the underrated category is because, again, I haven't heard too many people talking about that. I know that Miro has talked about this flower before, and that was such a great episode. Because of that episode, actually, back in, I think, almost 2 years ago, I wanted this Hoya, and then that was the time when I acquired this one from Camilla. And he has a really nice picture and description over the flowers. And please check that out. It is fantastic. And I hope one day this one will flower under my condition. I heard that it smells like vanilla, and this makes this Hoya not only the leaf shape is really nice, and also the growth pattern is really nice, together with vanilla smelling flower. And also it has, as I mentioned, if you give a little bit more light, it will give you the edge of sun stressing like this, more at the back. It's just pretty.
Thank you very much for staying until now. I wish you enjoy the content as much as I had fun making them. And please let me know down in the comment box down below which one added to your wish list and you would like to have your hands on. And if you have any care tips that you would like to share with all of us, don't hesitate and be generous to share your experience with us in the comment box down below. If you like this content and you would like me to continuously making similar video, don't forget to hit that like button and share this video with your friends. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave. Well, until next time, I wish all of you a great day and I will see you in the next one. Bye.